Animation in the world of television is a lot more fast-paced than for movies. Episodes need to get churned out quickly, and along the way, there may be some major mistakes.
This is a mistake! I didn't sign up for this!
In the fast-paced world of Nickelodeon cartoons, there have been plenty of mistakes over the years, including favorite shows like SpongeBob Squarepants, The Loud House, and Rugrats. So now we're here to show them all to you and see if you've ever spotted these mistakes before. The color palette on SpongeBob Squarepants is pretty unmistakable. There's the bright yellow for SpongeBob, Patrick's pink, and Mr. Krabs' vivid red. Through 20 years of animation, there isn't very much to mess up in that department, but a lot of the animation mistakes do come with the supporting characters. Let's go back to the episode Pet or Pests. When SpongeBob discovers a family of creepy worm-like creatures, a garbage man shows up to dispose of the slime residue left over. In a quick cut between angles, spot how the man's skin changes color from blue to green in a matter of seconds. Now, either the slime he touched has some pretty crazy side effects, or the extra detail put into the minor character was not noticed well enough. Out of all of the episodes of The Fairly OddParents, Channel Chasers will likely go down as one of the best. In the episode, Vicky and Timmy clash with each other as they travel through a variety of TV shows, and eventually end up on Mahomushi, an anime-inspired show. When the characters turn their remotes into lightsaber-inspired swords, each person takes a swing at each other. Vicky cuts off the top of Timmy's hat, while Timmy slices off the edge of Vicky's ponytail. And yet, the very next shot, they're both completely back to normal. They could have at least kept the damage active for a few more seconds. There's nothing like spying on someone and trying to get all the dirt you can on them, only to discover they spend a majority of their downtime just eating waffles. This was Dib's predicament in an episode of Invader Zim when he tries to spy on Zim. Obviously, watching the video stream for hours and hours is bound to cause some strain in the eyes, but even Dib wouldn't have run into this problem. Watch closely as his small eyes actually pop outside of the large eyeglasses frame he wears on his head. The moment only happens for a quick second and never again, clearly indicating some type of animated glitch. Cartoon eyes popping out of their skull is typically the norm, but this little moment was an obvious error that remained in the final cut of the episode. Some of the more crowded scenes on an episode of SpongeBob Squarepants include segments at the Krusty Krab. Not only do you have the main boss, Mr. Krabs, and his employees, SpongeBob and Squidward, but there are numerous customers the show must edit as well. While some of these nameless customers go unnoticed, once you see the mistake in this clip, you'll be checking out the background in all future episodes of the show. In the episode, Patrick has decided to become a superhero, attempting to save many residents of Bikini Bottom. At one point, SpongeBob serves a Krabby Patty to a shirtless customer. When the scene cuts away to the wide shot, it seems like something extra came with the meal. A whole t-shirt. The character is now clothed, and something definitely got lost in translation with the storyboard process on this one. And from one missing shirt to another. The Rugrats have gone on many adventures over the years, and the Pickles family thought it would be a great idea to take their young babies to Las Vegas. The glitz, the glam, and the indoor heated pools were definitely a plus. During one of the earliest scenes in the episode, Tommy hangs out with Phil, Lil, and Chuckie in nothing but a bathing suit and some swimmies. When Dee Dee swoops in to pick up Tommy and say goodbye, watch closely at the brief close-up. All of a sudden, Tommy's wearing his trademark blue t-shirt, but when the clip cuts back, the shirt has disappeared again. There's some Vegas magic for ya, or just a messy animation job. There isn't a sci-fi element The Fairly OddParents has not tried exploring, including movies, television, freezing time, creating alternative futures, and just time travel in general. One of Timmy Turner's biggest time-traveling adventures was in the episode The Secret Origin of Denzel Crocker. The episode not only features some great time-traveling elements, but draws on references to a slew of time-traveling shows and movies.
Take my hand if you want to live!
At one point, Timmy travels back to 1982, where we see a quick shot of the famous Back to the Future DeLorean pulling away from the school. The reference is a nice touch, but the film was released in 1985 and the car traveled back to the 1950s, never to 1982. They were just a few years off with this clever moment. In the later seasons of the Rugrats, it was pretty clear they were struggling a little bit to come up with some original content. Just look at the episode Famous Babies, where the Rugrats become a big sensation at the playground while playing in a fake rock band. Angelica collects chocolate chip cookies for every performance, and the babies just continue to rock away with barely any adult supervision. Phil took the lead on drums in the band, relying on a classic pail and shovel to make some noise, but if you watch a quick shot while they all play, you'll notice his drum kit has suddenly disappeared. Moments later, the pail returns again, and Phil continues to play like a true rock star and acts as if nothing happened and a huge animation gaffe was not made. One of the more frustrating episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants is the episode Rock Bottom, where the character misses his bus stop after a visit to Glove World and is taken to the far bottom of the ocean world. Maybe the episode was a little frustrating for animators too, because they made a glaring error that could freak kids out a little if they noticed. Early on, we see SpongeBob and Patrick getting ready to board the bus. Watch closely at SpongeBob's right arm. And there! Where did it go? SpongeBob loses an arm for just long enough to make us think that we're imagining things. Thankfully, the good old DVR rewind button allows us to track back and spot the missing limb animators really screwed up on. Wow, rewatching some episodes of Rocko's Modern Life really showcases how far the show would push the limits, especially in the episode Bedfellows. When Heifer moves in with Rocko, we see a whole different side to the cow. Yep, his full and hairy backside. Turns out, Heifer likes to throw backyard nude parties, and the little wallaby Rocko doesn't seem too impressed. But it doesn't matter. When he steps into the backyard, someone rips the clothes off him, leaving the little guy in just a pair of shoes. When we cut away to a quick montage of other naked cartoon characters and back to Rocko again, his shoes have magically disappeared as well, making the character truly naked. As Rocko was trying to cover up his coveted wallaby parts, there was clearly no time or reason to remove the shoes. And this isn't the only glaring animation mistake we found on Rocko's Modern Life. Each episode featured a signature title character showcasing character art and the basic premise. In the episode I Have No Son, we learn about Ralph and Bev Bighead's child, who is a thriving TV star. In the opening title card, their son Ralph clearly has blonde hair, but in the rest of the episode, the character has purple hair. A slight change, but definitely a mistake on whoever creates the title card artwork. On Hey Arnold, we saw a ton of episodes where Gerald played a supporting role to Arnold's problems or adventures in the city. It was always refreshing to see some storylines focus on the character, including the episode Gerald Moves Out. In the story, we see a little more of his home life, a pestering big brother, neglecting parents, and an annoying little sister. For this mistake, let's focus on the little sister. As Gerald walks down the stairs, he sees her wrapping a book with one of his cassette tapes. Keep a close eye on the book as it magically transforms from blue to green when it hits the ground. This wasn't even a different shot or a cutaway. The book just changes colors right at the same time. Gaz and Dib have a pretty complicated relationship on Invader Zim, one that clearly goes beyond the traditional sibling rivalry. Despite this, fans finally thought the two were getting a little too close in the episode Gaz Taster of Pork. During a shot, it appears as if Gaz and Dim are actually holding hands. So the siblings can finally get along? Nope! Show creator Jonan Vasquez even admitted the whole scene was an animation error. Their hands were never meant to get that close, and probably never would intentionally. At least for a while, fans had hope of the siblings keeping the peace for a short time. After the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles defeated their enemies, what's left to do? Well, we'll tell you. It's time to eat pizza and dance the night away. And this is exactly what the Heroes in a Half Shell did in the episode Showdown Part 2, where Krang was ultimately defeated. As the turtles dance and celebrate, keep a close eye on Leonardo. In a close-up shot, we see him busting a move on the white dance mat. But when we pull back for a wide shot, the white mat has seemingly disappeared and is replaced with a rug as Leonardo finishes up his dance. The white mat is slightly visible under the rugs, so someone in the CG department must have been playing around with the digital elements before rendering the final scene. After wondering about Arnold's parents for years, fans finally got some answers in the episode entitled Parents' Day. Not only did we get to meet Arnold's parents, but we got to see the baby version of Arnold and wonder how it was physically possible for his mother to give birth to his football-sized head. Anyway, the animation mistake here isn't with his enlarged head, it's with Gertie, his grandmother. In a number of the flashback scenes, she appears with brown hair instead of her trademark gray. Then things get a little loopy as she holds Arnold and they say goodbye to his parents. All of a sudden, her hair turns back to gray again, as if watching a child for less than a minute instantly aged her. All Grown Up was a refreshing spin-off for the Rugrats series, presenting all types of new problems and stories with the children a little older and in their preteen days. One of the episodes on the show was entitled Their Encounter and involved a random neighborhood thief. The thief turned out to be none other than Tommy himself, who was sleepwalking due to extreme stress about an upcoming test. The only problem with this logic? The first theft of a garden gnome took place before Tommy found out about the test. So either we have a major plot hole, or Tommy has the ability to cover up his tracks better than we realized, and he was able to dupe everyone involved. The Loud House is one of Nick's newest Nicktoons successes, and the show features a lot of characters to keep track of. For Lincoln Loud, his focus is often on distracting or manipulating his sisters so he can get a little private time. even if it means just watching his favorite TV show. In the episode Left in the Dark, Lincoln relies on some bribery to keep his sisters away from the TV. He presents one of the twins, Lana, with 2 frogs to keep her busy and happy. But when Lana presents her gleaming smile, something has gone missing. Her signature 3 eyelashes on each eye. The eyelashes appear in every other scene, and the removal here becomes extremely noticeable for anyone who's just seen a few episodes of the series. The adventures of Jimmy Neutron and his pals were truly out of this world, and often in a literal sense. The show took on many different plots, including the Great Egg Heist, where Jimmy must try to get a rare egg which harnesses all types of cosmic energy. To help get inside the museum where the egg is located, Libby must use a loud scream. Jimmy gives everyone pointed earplugs to block out the sound, but the moment after they're placed in, they suddenly disappear. And Carl actually uses his hands to cover his ears despite placing the earplugs in just moments before. What was the point of the whole earplug scene in the first place then? Man, the fairies have a lot of rules to follow when going to Earth, and there is rarely an episode where Cosmo and Wanda are not breaking them. Sometimes the fairies do get caught though, including the episode Where's Wanda? In the story, we learn Wanda has been locked away and assigned the dreaded Level 4 probation. When we first see the Level 4 sign, it's written normal with regular lettering. Once we cut back to the sign again, the Level 4 probation now appears in all caps. We guess the Level 4 assignment really means business. In a clever homage to horror movies, The Evil Beneath is a great episode of Jimmy Neutron, but features one major plot hole. When the characters get trapped in the evil lair, it's because their hover car is out of gas. So when it comes time for Jimmy, Carl, and Sheen to escape, they hop right into the hover car and are able to zoom out of there. But what about the gas? Did they think we'd forget about it in less than 15 minutes? Did one of the algae men fill up the tank? Either way, the whole main plot was forgotten about and ditched for a quick escape plan. A smart character like Jimmy would have typically pointed out this massive error. Poor Doug was always trying so hard to fit in with his schoolmates in Bluffington. Evidence of this can be found in the episode Doug's Cool Shoes, where Doug wants to buy the newest and hippest shoes to impress his friends. When trying on the shoes, the sales lady goes to take off the shoe. But if you look closely at the box, the new pair is already packed in there. Where did the third shoe come from? Are they so expensive because you get to enjoy a spare? Or maybe it was just an editing and animation error. The early seasons of Doug definitely didn't have the cleanest animation. That was part of the appeal. We can forgive a mistake or two, especially when the show provided us with great jams like I Need More Allowance. Doug made one of the craziest transitions back in the 1990s. After airing for 4 seasons on Nickelodeon, the show transitioned to Disney and began airing on ABC Saturday mornings. Naturally, the transition would come with a lot of changes and create some major mistakes in the process. One of these came from Disney's Season 7 episode Doug's Sour Note. In the episode, Patty Mayonnaise sings and does a terrible job at it.
Walks with Dad on weekends when the air is turning cold.
The pitchy rendition may come as a shock to many, mainly because we could hear how well Patty sings all the way back in Season 1.
So get out there and do your dummy thing!
You're right. I can do it.
In the episode Doug's No Dummy, Patty sings a great ballad, and unless there's a lip-singing controversy we don't know about, then this was a big error on the part of the new writers. Lincoln Loud may only be around 11 years old, but the middle child of the Loud family is already going through a lot of life changes, including puberty. One of the best examples of this can be found in the episode Making the Case. In the episode, we see a shirtless Lincoln and a single chest hair on his animated chest. Just when you think young Lincoln is starting to grow up, the chest hair seems to have disappeared. Besides the Making the Case episode, the chest hair does not appear again in future episodes where Lincoln appears shirtless for scenes like swimming and getting dressed. So what's the deal here? A continuity mistake, or is Lincoln just plucking one hair every time they regrow? You be the judge. One of the greatest Nicktoon crossovers of all time was the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. The crossover showcased the CG world of Jimmy Neutron and the traditional animated world of the Fairly OddParents. Seeing Timmy in CG was great, and obviously the animators put a lot into turning the character himself into CG while ignoring a few other details. For example, take a look at the milkshake date Timmy and Cindy have in the crossover event. At first, both characters have 2 straws to share the sweet treat. Cut to another angle and only 1 straw remains. The error is typically noticeable only to those craving that delicious drink, but now that we pointed it out, everyone will be counting the straws. Lincoln Loud sure has a lot of interest for writers and animators to keep track of. It only makes sense that they would make a few mistakes here and there, but the one in the price of admission was pretty big. In the episode, it's assumed Lincoln has never seen horror movies, but not only is this untrue, but it has been proven wrong on multiple occasions. In One Flew Over the Loud House, Lincoln boasts about the crazy amount of zombie films he's seen. If you've seen that many, then a movie like The Harvester likely wouldn't have kept him up all night. On top of that, we actually see him watch a zombie movie in the episode Two Boys and a Baby. Tommy Pickles always seems to be on a mission for good, as seen in the classic Rugrats episode Beach Blanket Babies. In the story, Tommy wants to free the sea monkeys and help them return to the ocean. Along for the mission is his often reluctant pal Chuckie. As Tommy attempts to put the sea monkeys into the cooler, watch closely at Chuckie's feet. At first, he's wearing shoes, and then all of a sudden, he's barefoot. The shoes switch on and off his feet much faster than any toddler has the ability to do. We assume the barefoot animation was being saved for the beach scenes, but the animators got a little ahead of themselves by putting them into the shot a little early. We can all admit it. Animation is pretty tough, and these mistakes may be small, but they're definitely noticeable. Any others we forgot to list here? Any that distracted you right away? Well, let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.